Now for this question, we have a progression has a first term of 12 and a fifth term of 18. So let's first write this information down. So we always call the first term as A is 12 and the fifth term, which is term number 5, as 18. This is given information. Now let's move on to the questions. Now part 1, we have to find the sum of the first 25 terms if the progression is arithmetic. Now, this is a very good thing because we know already what type of progression it is. So again, in A-level and also I think in O-level too, we only have two types of progression you guys have to learn. One is arithmetic and one is geometric. So once you know which type of progression this is, you can always proceed first by writing down the relevant formulas. Now again, these are given to you on your list. You don't need to memorize those, which is a good thing. So let me first write that. For the part 1, the formulas that we'll be using will be the nth term, that will be a plus n minus 1 times d, and then the sum of the first n term, that should be half n 2 times a plus n minus 1 times d. Again, these are given to you in your list. No need for memorization. Now let's move on. So how can we use these things to find the sum of the first 25 terms? So the goal here is to find the sum of the first 25 terms. That's the main goal. Now step by step, we know the value of a is 12, okay, and we know the fifth term is 18. So we have this. So I can see that from the list we have a, we have n, which is here n is 25, right, 25 terms, but we're missing d. So our goal here is to first find the value of d. So we have to use the given values on top to find the value of d. So let me use this one because we know here the fifth term is 18. So let me write this down. Using the fact that a, which is the first term, is 12 and the fifth term is 18, we are going to find the value of d first. So continue. So the fifth term is basically when n is equal to 5, the term is equal to 18. So let's replace this one back in the main equation. So here we have t5, which is 18, is going to be a is 12 plus n is 5 minus 1 will be 4 times d. So now we have an equation we can solve step by step to find the value of d. So 4d will be 18 minus 12. So 4d will be what? Will be 18 minus 12 will be 6, and d will be 6 divided by 4. Again, always you can use your calculator, no problem. That will be 1.5 as your value of d. So now once you have this value, you can proceed to find the value of the sum of the first 25 terms. So let's replace back in this equation. So sum of the first 25 terms will be half times n is 25, 2 times a is given to you as 12, and we have plus n minus 1 is 24 times d, which is 1.5. Okay, that's it. So we just have to replace in your calculator to solve this to find the answer. So inside first, 2 times 12 plus 24 times 1.5 will be this, times 25 divided by 2. That will be 750 will be your answer for part 1 of the question. Okay, so now let's move on to part 2. We have to find the 13th term if the progression is geometric. So pretty easy, right? So now we know the type of progression this is. We can first proceed by writing down the formulas that we know for this one. So we know for geometric progression, the nth term is given to you by a r n minus 1, and then the sum to infinity, or this is given to you by a 1 minus r. Again, this will be given to you on your list. No need to memorize. But now again, let's see what can we use here. Our goal is to find the 13th term. So we have to find this. 13th means when the value of n is 13th. Okay, good. Now, as you can see, we have to use the given values. So using the value of a is 12, which is the first term, and the fifth term is given by 18. Now we're missing a value here, as by observation we can see we don't have the value of r. So let's first find the value of r from those two given information. So let's proceed. So here we know the term number 5 is given by 18, which is equal to the equation here, which is a is 12, r we don't know, and n is 5 minus 1 is 4. So here we have to solve for the value of r. So r power 4 is what? It is 18 over 12. So let's simplify that. 18 divided by 12, that will be 1.5, which is 3 over 2, right? And then r will be applying this. Sorry, so we 4 here, which is power 1 over 4, right? So we can just use that for now if you want to, or we can just simplify. So that will be what? So we know this will be what? This is the same thing as 1.5 power 1 over 4. So 1.5 power 1 over 4, that will be, this is not exact. So let me keep this as my value of r for now, though, so we can use and find the exact value in my required question. So here we need to find the 13th term. So let's do this. So when n equal to 13, find the value of t. So replace back in this equation. So t13 will be a is equal to 12. R, we know it is 1.5, 1 over 4. And then the value of n minus 1. N minus 1 is 13 minus 1, that will be 12. Okay, so here we just have to simplify. So that will be 12. Here by the rules of indices, we know that we have to just multiply these two. 1 over 4 times 12, that will be what? That will be 3. So 1.5 times 3. Times 12, that is 3, exactly. So you will have 12 times 1.5 power 3, that should give you 3.375. So your answer will be times 12, that will be 40.5. Okay, so that will be your 13th term of the progression if it was a geometric progression. Now again, the steps always, I would say, is pretty similar. The first thing to find out first is what type of progression that we have. That's the first thing we need to keep in mind. Now once we realize that, let's first write down all the formulas that you guys know for this kind of progression. That's the first thing. And then use the given information to try to find out what do you need to find the required answer at the end. That will be the steps that we cannot follow for this kind of question. And that will be the question in regards to progression for paper 1.